We started this project with the goal of making a Raspberry Pi into a wireless cloud storage through the use of a program called OwnCloud.
Before we started this project, we hadn't done anything like this before. Throughout this project, we mainly learned about Nginx and PHP5.
We learnt about them through the use of them throughout our project and by researching to find exactly what they are. We found that Nginx is software to create a web server to serve web pages.
We also found that PHP5 is an open source scripting language which is used on web servers to produce web pages. There were many technologies used throughout the project. These were a Raspberry Pi to run Raspberry and to host the cloud server,
A keyboard and mouse to interact with the Noob's GUI, a HDMI cable to connect the Raspberry Pi to the TV to display the GUI when needed,
a laptop to run the Raspberry Pi through command line when needed, a hard drive to store the files that are uploaded to the cloud server,
and lastly OwnCloud to provide the cloud software service. We faced a few challenges throughout the project. The first of all was getting the Raspberry Pi to connect to the Wi-Fi both at QUT and at home, when the Raspberry Pi was running QUT's version of Raspbian.
However, we then re-imaged the Raspberry Pi to Noob's Raspberry, and it then connected well to the Wi-Fi at home, but it wouldn't connect to the Wi-Fi at QUT. So we decided to only work on the project at home.
Then, after the cloud server was up and running, we faced another issue. When trying to connect to the server on a web browser to upload a file, it wouldn't let us connect because the web browser didn't trust the certificate. After telling the web browser to make an exception for the untrusted certificate, the web browser proceeded to connect to the server, but we came across another issue.
This issue was that after we found the IP address of the Raspberry Pi, then we used this IP address to connect to the server through the web browser. We got a 502 bad gateway error.
We researched this error and found many ways that others have fixed it, but nothing seemed to fix our issue. Some improvements that could be made to the project is that we could have made two servers running on two separate Raspberry Pis. The first server would receive the file and then send the file to the second server where the file would be stored on a hard drive that is connected to the Raspberry Pi.
Another improvement is that we could have made it more secure by making it so that encrypts the file when they are received in the server, and then it decrypts the files when you want to get a file out of the server. Overall, we have learned a lot throughout this project as it was completely new to us.
We were just frustrated that we couldn't actually connect to the server that we spent time making.